Hello again, and welcome back to Glasgow South Motor Tram and Rail Group Workshops. I'm going to be doing some point motors this morning. I did one on the point motors refit, but I was requested by somebody to do the wiring of point motors. A bit confused on that. So I've got a Hornby point motor, and I've got the Hammond and Morgan that we use, and I'm going to show you the basics of how to wire these up. So once I've got the camera set up, I'll be back. Hello again, we're back again. Now here we have the Hornby point motor with the wee hut that fits over the top of it. Some of you will be utilising that. And we've got the Hammond and Morgan point motor that our club uses. I also have some of the Hornby passing contact switches and our capacitor discharge unit that our club uses. We use a 24 volt AC connection to this. So in order for that to work, I'm going to increase the voltage, the working voltage of the capacitors, because the original one, I think they were 25 volts, I think, and I discovered when I put the meter across the capacitor, it was nearly 33. I had uprated them to 35 volts, and it was 33 volts across them, so I took them out again and I increased them to 50 volt working. And the reason for that was one of them did explode because the voltage was too high. So I'll show you the principles, the basic principles of how these work. It's basically two coils of wire. You see them there. That black, these two coils of wire. One green wire goes to the one terminal, the red wire of the other coil goes to the other terminal, and then you've got a black wire that is common to both of them. You don't need two wires, just use one. You'll see that in a wee minute when I do the other one. Now, I've got my trusty power unit here. To demonstrate this, I'm just using my power supply I've got. So what we do is we connect the black to the black, like so. And if I don't know how well the camera's going to pick this up, but I'll do my best. If I touch that one, and then I go back to the green one, you will see, if you watch carefully the wee pin, it will flick. See? Now, my power supply is supplying 20 volts at the moment. And I'll do the same with this. You can see on this one, again, one coil, two coils. And you've got one coil and the other coil live, and then the other two have been linked together because that's and that is the common connection. So put that on there. You maybe see it moving a bit better with this one. I don't know if you saw that or not. You watch the pin up here, it will flick. Now, it is moving, but it's not moving the way that you need to. Or if that was connected to a point with that power supply connected, I don't know if it would work. And what we do is we connect it to one of these, a capacitor discharge unit. And I'll be back very shortly once I've sorted this out, because I've got one that we put into a case for test purposes. So I'll be back when I've sorted that out. Right, folks, here we have our capacitor discharge unit, which is just the same as what I have here, but inside a case. And here we have our Hornby point motor. Now, I'll show you with these. If you look carefully, there's two holes, one coloured red and one coloured green. You see that now? And what you do is you connect that red to red and green to green, and your plus coming out of here goes to that brass connection there, and the rest of your obviously there's a pin on the other side, and what you do is you just connect all your things together like that. So all these switches are now live right through. You've got a pin at this side for another one to go on, and the connections to your points go all in there. That's these two wires here. And the common goes to, they go back and get connected up. All the blacks go together and they go back to the minus on this, and that's all there is to it. Now I'm going to demonstrate this with this capacitor discharge unit. So again, on the front of this we've got a switch with 3 connectors on it, and it's spring loaded, so it comes back to the centre position. The live goes to the centre pin. Always goes to the centre pin. It's just a duplicate of that bank of switches we had. It's the exact same, only it's a toggle switch. So we connect the black to the black. And we connect the red. In this case, it doesn't really matter because the wires are a different colour. The other two, in this case the wire's white. I just had to use what things I could get at the time when I was building this. Now, there's my point motor. Sitting on top there. If I flick the switch, it operates. So it's quite simple. Bring the camera in a bit more.
Sorry, are you recording?
No. You can see it now.
Really?
So that's how it operates, just with that. And I'll do it with the other point motor if I can find it, wherever it's went to. That switch, yes, that switch that I'm operating is the exact same as these. There's no difference at all. The connections are exactly the same. 2 wires, green and red, and your live get in there. And that's it. Very, very simple. I have sent diagrams out for folk that want them, circuit diagrams. And this is that's the exact same as that unit there. And for those of you who are asking about the capacitor discharge unit, that is a block signalling. That's to make it a block signalling CDU. That's the heavy duty one. But what we found was powering it from 16 volts AC did not work. It wasn't powerful enough, so we increased it to 24 volts AC. But to do that, you have to increase the capacitor voltage to 50 volts. That's what we increased them to. They're slightly taller than the originals, but they're the same diameter. And you just take them out, but you've got to be very careful when you put them back in that you get the minus side. The minus side. You've got to put them in the right way around, or you'll have problems. Like the capacitor will explode, reverse polarity. But that's all there is to it. There's not a lot to go wrong. Very fast recharging these things. You can see that yourself with that. I mean, I'm just flicking it back and forward. So the capacitors are recharging at a very quick rate. I'll connect it up to the other one, let you see that. The principle is the exact same, no matter what solenoid, and I repeat, only solenoid point motors. Black to black, or to common rather, and the other two to these wires. And then, I'll turn this round if I can, just let you see it. Just watch the rod. So basically, with point motors, what you've got is you've got your power supply, 16 volts, 24 volts, AC, whatever it is, going into your capacitor discharge. The plus goes in. Well, with AC it doesn't really matter what way you put it because it's AC. The plus DC coming out the other side goes to that centre switch. On a toggle switch, it's the centre contact. There's three contacts. It's the centre one that we're using. These two go to the two outside wires on the point motor, no matter what that is. The Hornby one's the exact same, and the other two are the return, and they get linked together. On this one they get linked together. On the Hornby one it doesn't matter because it's just one wire that's coming out of that. That goes back to the minus on the capacitor discharge unit. Okay? Now, as far as I said, all these switches are linked together through the bottom contact. On the three-way switch, on the toggle switch, what you've got to do is you've got to get all your switches in the centre, as well as one wire coming onto the centre, and you take another one to the next switch, to the next switch. It's just like a daisy chain, right through, so that all the switches are live at the same time. So only when you flick it, it switches the point motor. I hope this helps you in wiring your point motors. I can't help you with DCC, the way they work with DCC. The principle's the same, but they've got decoders and all the rest of it. I don't do DCC. I've never tackled the slow motion point motors, you know, that it's like a motor that actually drives it back and forward dead slowly. I haven't done them. I take it it's just the same principle with a spring-loaded switch. You flick it one way to change the point, you flick it the other way and the motor goes the other way. That's the only difference I would think, but I've never actually tackled them. So that's how I do my, that's how our club does our point motors, our solenoid point motors. And as I said, I showed you the Hornby one. The principle's the same. There's only 3 contacts, 2 to each coil, and the centre is the common. So with those few things, I will sign off, and if there's any workshops you want to see, let us know. And for now, goodbye.